Welcome to another episode of the Heroes Veritas. Oh, sorry, habit. Totally used to the podcast thing when I hit the record button. Really appreciate everybody taking the time to sit down with us. In just a moment, I'm going to pull up a slide deck that we're going to share with you. The purpose of today's discussion and tonight's public webinar was to get you guys involved and get you aware of what we've been working on for the past 6 to 8 months. This journey for us started, at least for me, started a couple of years back. But as a team, we've only been together about 6 months, and Tish and Matt can throw things at me and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm terrible with time. But it feels like we've been doing this for years because we have just been mad dash to the finish since we started. We've had a lot of great milestones in the vision and what we've been trying to accomplish. And we just finally got to a place where we felt comfortable bringing others on. And so tonight is really us, kind of our debut party where we're saying, hey, this is what we're doing. We're coming out to the world. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And from that, we're also going to be looking as we go through this to add people to the team. So as you hear things, as we cover things, try and think about where you might fit in this process, maybe where you might know somebody that can help us get to where we're trying to go, or you yourself could help us get to where we're trying to go. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slide deck and we'll get started. And of course, like all things, the application crashes as soon as I click it. That's awesome. So technical difficulties are always part of the fun. Feel like I need hold music for you guys, a little elevator music, get it going. Share. A few pop-ups here. Go ahead and throw me a thumbs up either in the chat or on the camera if you see the slide deck. Everything's good. Great. Everybody can still hear me. Fantastic. So we are Heroes Veritas. We like to focus on the adventure side of life. We like wringing every ounce out of life as we possibly can. And to that, that's the solution we bring to the table. I'm the host of the evening. I'm the CEO, founder, creator of Heroes Veritas. My name is Tim Bass. Most of you have either come across my content on social media, Facebook, or possibly the podcast on YouTube. Our aim is to make a positive change in the world, as I said earlier. And tonight we're going to be sharing that publicly with you. Wrong button. So as we go through the slide deck, you're going to get to know me quite a bit. Again, I am the brainchild of this whole thing. I was the one that came up with the idea and the concept. However, I'm not the only one that has done this. I'm not the only one that created this. I shared this vision with Matt Brunk and Tish Horn, VP and CFO, and they have expanded on that vision and taken it even further than I ever could before. So I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce them and let them talk to you and share with you kind of what they've brought to the table and as well as why they joined up. Matt, if you want to go ahead and unmute. We can't hear you, brother. See, we should have done this with you in the room, and that way I could take care of all your technical stuff too. Let me see. How about now? I sent you a button. Did that work? Oh, man. Try that.
There we go.
There he is. All right.
There
Apologies, everyone. Matt, take it away.
Okay. Well, in short, my name is Matt Brunk. I'm an entrepreneur, father of 5. Been in business for myself for more than 2 decades. I met Tim, a year ago?
Yeah.
Just short of a year ago, just at a year ago in Utah at King's Calling. And ever since, we have we've spoken on and off and kept collaborating with one another on certain things. And Tim came up with this vision. He sent it to me, asked me to look it over with my experience, see what I thought of it. And my response was, why have you been sitting on this? Why haven't you moved on this already? And so we expanded on it and decided to make the whole thing come to fruition. He asked me to come on board as VP, and I'm ready to kick this thing off and running. I'm excited to meet everybody and see what your thoughts are on this when you hear about it. Tish?
I think I gotta unmute you, Tish. Give me 1 second while I get used to this tool set here.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Fabulous. All right, so I'm Tish Horn. I've known Tim for several years. He was coaching me when I first jumped into powerlifting. Took me from couch potato to state records. So that's where, we've been friends ever since then. He's been working on Heroes Veritas for a while. It was meant to be kind of a men's group in the beginning, so that was great, and offered support where I could. When Tim and Matt pulled this together after the King's Calling, then it became more of a family-focused sort of event, project. And so then it became a place where I felt like I could fit in. I could bring the women's voice into the group and help with that. So I am the CFO and the female pillar for Heroes Veritas and our executive team, but I'm also the CFO and co-owner of Absolute Flex Appeal, which is a gym in Rockland. Like I said, I'm a powerlifter, so I'm a current competitor and I just recently earned my pro bench card. So that's kind of what I do on the backside. But really what I enjoy is helping people find their aha moments, their moments of discovery for themselves, where they didn't know they could do a thing, but either through strength or support in whatever ways that they bring to the table, they find their moment of being able to discover about themselves. And so that's what I feel is really amazing with Heroes Veritas, is this property is going to be 600 acres of all kinds of things to reach all kinds of people in whatever avenue or venue of interest that they have, and help them to grow and discover those little aha moments of like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. So that's really like the inspiration piece for me of wanting to be a part of this team. And of course, Tim is, full of gusto and excitement for this project, and it's hard not to want to just like jump full aboard, like Matt has said, of like, all right, let's get this thing going. We need to have our 600 acres now so we can start playing. And really that's what I enjoy most, is that potential of just as adults being able to play. So that's what I find exciting and really what holds me to being a part of Heroes Veritas. So thank you, Tim, for having me be a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt, as well. As I mentioned, this vision, this concept has gone over many iterations. In the beginning, I actually thought that I was out to reclaim masculinity, in which that was what I was kind of selling. That was a solution I was providing. And across that time period between 2019 to now, within a few months, I was pretty aware of how arrogant it sounded to tell other men how to live. And so it was very misaligned for me, because I know for myself, I wouldn't want anybody telling me how to live. And so what I started to look at was less symptomatically and more root cause. What is missing in the world today that makes everybody feel a little bit more depressed, a little bit maladjusted, a little bit less of zeal, as Tish so eloquently put it. I have a lot of gusto. And it was really around self-respect, and it was really around confidence. And that's kind of the solution that she alluded to, that we give people, is that aha moment, the opportunity to really challenge themselves, bring back the dignity of hard work, and find that self-respect and confidence as it aligns to themselves personally in this world. And so as we go through this deck, keep in mind that everything that we're going to build and everywhere we're targeting is going to fall in those pillars of the core values, which we'll go into in this next page here. Share screen. So real quick, I just want to highlight what the overall mission is of Heroes Veritas. Heroes Veritas is looking to unify towards a brighter future. We want to honor the integrity of the past, and the entire time we want to foster a culture of honor, courage, and responsibility. Now, why is this super important? 3 years ago, when I was sitting there telling myself that I wanted to make a difference and I wanted to make an impact, I didn't like where the world was heading, and I didn't like the way we were moving socially, politically, economically, but I also didn't know exactly how to go about fixing it. Then you enter Matt, who's got a lot of great ideas, and Tish, who's got a lot of great ideas. And together we started looking at, what do we really want? We want opportunity, not only for ourselves, but for our kids and our grandkids. But we also don't want to lose sight of the virtues and values that the past has given us. And so we want to marry those together and develop that culture where we honor the past, we honor ourselves, we work with courage, and we seek responsibility within that mission. So I was looking through this earlier, and there's a lot of academic words on here. There's a lot of things that I can share with you. I could put fancy animations on here and I can do all that stuff, but it really doesn't capture how much passion and drive we have to getting this thing done. So as we go through this, I'm going to use the slide as kind of a jump off point, but I'm going to get off script quite a lot. It just makes me feel more aligned with myself, more honest with communicating with you guys. And I'm going to communicate to you the way that I would communicate with Tish and Matt, as if you're already part of the team. That's going to allow me to work with a lot higher level of honesty with you than just reading off this slide deck and giving you guys a book report. So ultimately, what we're looking to do is create a North Star for all of society to orient themselves. Now, we're not the only North Star. There's a lot of different ways to do things, but we will be a great, bright, shining star in society that people can actually look to and say, well, if Heroes is doing it that way, then there's got to be something to that. And that's what we're trying to develop. We're trying to develop a place that we can have a convergence of thought, philosophy, and culture while giving hands-on kinetic experiences to society to start making micro shifts in their trajectory so that they can enjoy a peaceful, happy, and luxurious life that's something that they're proud of. So we are a for-profit organization, and we talked about what this would look like if we were nonprofit. And the reality is, to go nonprofit would hold our hands a little bit in doing it the way we wanted to do it. So we're for-profit so that we can be dedicated to developing individuals the way we want to see them develop, so that we as a team can work together based on our core values and our virtues to develop a system that is both functional in solving the problem, but is completely within our control. And ultimately, it's centered and focused around solving problems for the customer, the person, or the individual that seeks us out. Now, I'm a firm believer in it's not all about what you do, it's about how you do it. A lot of times, there's a big push, especially in society today, that I don't agree with, where the means justify the end or the end justify the means. And I just don't think that it's about the ending as much as it is maintaining character, being able to look yourself in the mirror, and being able to say, we did it by our drum and our drum alone, and nobody can take that away from us. And that's where our core values really come into play here. Myself, Matt, and Tish, we spent hours very passionately arguing and debating these very things. It wasn't something we put down on paper as a selling point. It wasn't something we just said, you know what, this might be cool. It was something we actually live and believe in at the core of everything we do. First and foremost is responsibility. We hold ourselves and others responsible. In society, as we've seen it today, there's a huge lacking of personal accountability and responsibility that we just don't agree with. We shouldn't be blaming other people. We shouldn't be playing the victim. We should be taking responsibility for ourselves, our actions, and our choices so that we are completely in control of making sure the outcome is the way we want to see it. We believe we should do everything with integrity. Our daily lives should be operated with integrity because it's one of those things that cannot be cheapened. And once it's lost, it's very, very difficult to get back. And so everything we do, we challenge ourselves and the people that we partner with and associate with to work with integrity. We also believe, and especially the last 2 years, in my opinion, it was the one thing that was lacking is courage. Courage to stand up for what is right, courage to stand up for what we believe in, courage to say no. When everybody else is saying it's right and you know it's wrong, planting that flag and saying, no, this is not right. So courage was one of those virtues that we knew that if we did not have at a core level, none of this would happen. Because without the courage to move, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter what solutions you bring to the table. It doesn't matter how right you are. If you don't have the courage to act, you're not going to make it. And honor. In order to receive honor, we must exemplify honor. Honor is one of those words that has lost a lot of weight and gravitas in recent years because most people don't even understand what honor is. By definition, honor is just a standard of conduct. Very simply put, it is a system by which you rate the value and impact of your actions against the people you care for and respect. So in order for us to expect honor and loyalty and commitment from the people that are around us, we must first honor ourselves. We must be true to ourselves. We must take responsibility for ourselves. We must be courageous in those actions. And that is how we can ask for honor of each other. By being honest, responsible, and courageous, we can honor each other. So why would you work with Heroes Veritas? Why would we set this out? Why would we want to be a part of this? Why would we even think that this is a great idea? We spend a lot of time talking about what we wanted to accomplish and where we wanted to go. We spent a lot of time really hammering out what's the point. And the reality is there's a lot of people out there that do a small part of what we are looking to accomplish. They're niche categories, they're single verticals, but there's nobody out there that we have found that is looking to holistically solve the problem of developing a place and a culture that gives self-respect, confidence, and alignment through actual hands-on experience. And so when we put this together, we wanted to not only be a place where people can develop those things and develop the skill set, but be able to identify and test the crossover utility of those systems. If we're focusing on fitness, but we're also focusing on protection and being able to protect your family, we're going to have a system where we can say, okay, well, if you're going to do this, then you need this level of fitness. And we can give you the tools to develop that while teaching you this over here. So the crossover utility makes us extremely unique in this space. We also focus on functional training. When we were going through this, and specifically when I was going through this, and I was primarily a coach, one of the number one things that really frustrated me was the amount of people talking, but not giving hands-on lessons to anybody. They'd hold conferences and coaching groups and you name it, webinars like this one. And that's all they would do. It would just be talking. There would never be any functional hands-on work backing that up. It was just, I said to do it, so go do it. And that's what I call theoretical coaching. We believe in functional coaching. So with Heroes Veritas, we aim to bring experts from the field in to give factual tactical information around how you should be doing something, right? Fitness is a great example I mentioned earlier. There's a lot of myths in the space of fitness, a lot of things in the world of fitness that if you talk to certain coaches within that space, they're going to propose that you do something, but in reality, it doesn't actually have any impact on the outcome or the result. It's just good for selling a product. And so our focus is making sure that we weed through all of that fluff so that the solution we provide to our customers is only brass tacks functional. That's it. That'll work in the real world. I mentioned a little bit earlier as well, we aim to be the North Star. So what I mean by the North Star is that if you know it's coming out of Heroes, if you know that the training is coming from Heroes or a certification is coming from Heroes, you can hold confidence and respect that the person that holds that has been vetted, has gone through the best level of training, and has the same cultural value system and virtues that makes them a good, high functioning moral person. And so the North Star concept is the focal point of the entire system. Everything we do, no matter how big or small, has to be aspirational level. We have to set the ideal, and we have to be willing to set the example through our actions, not just our words. Which brings me to the fourth technically, reason why Heroes Veritas is very different from anywhere else. Acta non verba, Latin for actions, not words. I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's a lot of people out there telling people how to live. There's a lot of systems out there that will propose that all you need to do is talk. All you need to do is sit and think, and your life will be better. But that's just not the case. That's not how the real world works. Humans learn by doing. We are functionally configured and hardwired to be kinetic. And so every system of training and offering that Heroes will have a kinetic component to it, a hands-on component to it. By doing this, it allows us to increase competency at a faster rate of speed and increase the confidence that should you need to use those skills and those tools, you're going to be in a better position to develop that functionally and not feel apprehensive because you just heard it on a PDF or read it on a PDF or heard it on a Zoom call one time. We're going to give you that kinetic space. So I developed an approach that follows in line with those 4 pieces. I call it the ACE approach: action, culture, education. One of the big reasons that education in general falls short is because it's obligatory and it puts us in a room to just sit for 8 hours with no movement. And we're expected to just cram all this information in. And then we do that, regurgitate it once, and then we never use it again. Action is super critical for developing functional skill sets. And so, as I mentioned, getting kinetic is one of the core pillars of our approach so that people can learn, but also enjoy doing it. And by doing that, we create the culture so that because they've done it and they've been immersed in it at our facility and they've been able to experience others doing it, it will automatically create an adoptive approach to ingraining that system, because from the moment they get there to the moment they leave, that's the only experience they get. And we're moving and we're shaking and we're learning and we're saying please and thank you and treating people with respect, because, and this is born out of, if you've ever gotten into the gun community and tried to learn tactics, there's a known barrier of entry, because there are certain individuals that think they're better and treat people with disrespect if they don't know one or the other. And the fitness world is the same thing. There's some judgment criteria that you have to get past in order to get the information you need. So by creating a culture of integrity and respect, we remove or at least lower the barrier of entry for anybody that comes on site and trains with us. And then education. We offer the classes and workshops with the hands-on modules so that it's a rich and enjoyable environment that when they leave, they're like, man, I've never experienced anything like that before. And they'll create memories, because that's really what it's about. We're solving problems, but if they don't remember it, there's no education, there's no learning taking place there. So those 3 things put together are going to facilitate high uptake, confidence and competencies, and enjoyment, so that they'll come back and they'll want to be in that environment as often as possible. So to that end, and this is where I'll really get off script because this is my favorite part of the whole thing, is the actual concept. What we're trying to build. At a high level, it's a ranch, a facility, a compound. For different people, it's going to have different names, different functions. But ultimately, it's a single location, a convergence point, where we can develop and assist and solve problems for people so that they can feel confidence, competency, they can feel connected, And in doing so, we create an ecosystem where not only learning happens, but integration happens, where connection happens, where love happens. And this is going to be done in a physical location that we are giving 600 acres to this idea. Now that 600 acres is going to be extremely fluid. It's going to be extremely versatile. We're going to build out systems that allow us to move things around so that it's fresh and new and exciting every time somebody comes there. We're going to focus on top-notch training. So we're constantly going to have feedback systems and the ability to improve and the ability to develop more functional constructs, because as people come in, we'll invite them back to the culture. We'll invite them back into the system so that they can develop us, help us develop and create the most functional system that we can. We'll also be very detail oriented. Now, when I say detail oriented, a lot of people, they get a little like, what does that mean? I mean, to the most minute detail, we are going to control the space so that people that join us, people that are part of the ecosystem, never have to feel like just a number. That's a big part of it for me. With everything from education to medical to legal to you name it. In our society, the number one complaint most people voice about being engaged in these systems is, I feel like I'm just a number. And so by us being detail oriented and focused on the core values and virtues that I've already outlined, it allows us to take everyone from feeling like a number to feeling like they're part of the system. And that's going to be extremely critical for us to be successful at our ultimate goal, the mission of the brighter future. Because if you don't feel connected, if you feel like you're just a number, you're not going to care about the future the way we care about the future. So it's extremely vital for us that we focus on making sure everybody feels included in this dream that we have, in this vision, so that we can proliferate it at the highest level that we desire. So this is phase one. In order for us to get all the things that we want to get, and we will get into place, we can't just go full bore and get it all done all at once for a couple of reasons. One, it'd be way too much to do in one sitting. And two, we want to have the opportunity to learn and to grow and make mistakes and fail and upgrade it and grow from it, rather than just going all at once and then be stuck with that system and maybe it doesn't work, or maybe it doesn't serve the solutioning or the clients. We don't want that. And so as we go through this and I break down the facility for you and we talk a little bit more about what we're doing, keep in mind that none of this is going to be guaranteed set in stone. Something that we have later in a phase, maybe in the first phase. But also, if you have an idea, if you would like to see something, if you think that in your head, I could be part of this, I can see myself as part of this vision, but I'd love to own this vertical, this piece, and we can add this on the facility, and we can walk the grounds together and we can grow together and build that for you. And if you look at the facilities as we go through this, the other thing I'd like for you to keep in mind is most of these systems are like having independent businesses that can run completely in themselves, that we're just putting under the Heroes Veritas ethos so that we can make sure that we align to the ultimate vision of the brighter future. We align to the core values, and we can make sure that we can support those systems all together. So again, as we go through this, keep that in mind. Where do I see myself in this facility? Where could I add value here? What do I think would be a great addition to this? Or where do I think I could actually serve that brighter future? Now our headquarters. This will probably be the most corporate looking building, and it still probably won't even look like a corporate building on site. This will be a 3-story conference building. This will be where we house our C-suite business partners. This will be where our conference rooms will be. This will be where our classrooms will be, our traditional classrooms. I should say our traditional classrooms, because we do still see a need for having auditorium style seating and a place where we can develop an academic thought process and discussion. However, again, going back to the kinetic side, it won't stay in that classroom. There will be hands-on things. There will be kinetic things. All of this will be sitting on 600 acres in heavily wooded trees. So if I could invite you to take a journey with me and put yourself there mentally, as you turn off the main road, you're gonna follow down this newly paved road that's just lined by trees. And as you turn into this parking lot, you're going to be met with this 3-story building that is a perfect marriage of urban and nature, because nature is going to be a way for us to disconnect from the outside world so that we can have a fully immersive space. Now, as you go through the double glass doors and you open up to the main floor, you're going to see a lot of movement. There might be tours going on, but the main thing you're going to probably see is off to the right-hand corner. You're going to see a giant, fully functional public restaurant that we have an industrial kitchen serving it, that is ideally fed from our farm, our headquarters farm, where we grow our own stuff, which will be part of the classrooms. That will also bring in the food to that kitchen. It'll serve our teams, it'll serve the public, it'll have a full eating area. Again, all of these images here are just to give you ideas. It's not set in stone. Lots of windows, lots of light, lots of greenery. But overall, that first floor is a place to commune, to hang out, to get to know each other, to connect with the teams, to connect with each other. Because we have that restaurant on site, we'll be able to single-handedly cater events on site. We'll be able to cater hundreds of people if we needed to. This system the name of the game for us, as I tell the team, is diversity and variability. Just because that space is dedicated to one thing doesn't mean we can't use it for 1,000 other different purposes. And so as we build this out, the idea is, how do we use that space for as many functions as possible to serve our clients, to serve our teams, to serve our company in a way that may be a little bit more creative and not so set in stone, right? Maybe we have watch parties at the restaurant. Maybe we've talked about, and I'll get into this a little bit later, we'll have a shooting range on hand. We'll have a tactical town on hand where we can do, CQB and close quarter battle tactics. Maybe we send a group into CQB and their loved ones can hang back at the restaurant and watch them live on the TVs while enjoying a brunch while they watch them go through this training. Community is going to be a big part of this, and the headquarters is going to be that big hub of conversation. Moving out of the headquarters, down the road a bit, will be the utility building. Now, the utility building is a multifunctional, very large space. Now, on the back end, that'll be our secondary shipping and receiving. That'll be where we keep all of our equipment. But the main function of this building is going to be a fully functioning, up-to-date gym that we can support everybody's goals, whether that's bodybuilding for sport, powerlifting for sport, or just getting into battle readiness for some role within your life, whether that's protecting you and your family, or maybe you hold an emergency position, or maybe you're into CrossFit and you need to train for that. We will have fitness professionals there to help you program and stay on track and keep in that system so that you can reach the optimal place of your fitness of whatever goal you desire to hit. Adjacent to that gym, we'll also have a small cafe where you can get protein shakes, pre-workouts, carbs for fueling the workout. Maybe you can get chicken and rice so that you can get everything you need to support that physical fitness all on site. Now, I said this is going to be a giant space. So this will be a good opportunity for us to rent that space out for other third-party groups. Maybe it'll place where maybe if you're a fitness professional, you can come and bring your team to work out there. But the utility building is equipped with showers and locker rooms and bathrooms. And we believe that fitness is a core fundamental of life. And anybody that's like myself, my story, I was 300 pounds and I had to lose weight just for my own health. And so since then, I personally know the importance of fitness. And so this is going to be a very critical aspect of the Heroes Veritas location. Now, because we're offering so much, and there's going to be so much to do and so much to learn and so many things to enjoy and experience, we have to have a way of keeping people safely and comfortably on site. And so we've decided to build luxury living on site on this property by converting recycled shipping containers into luxury properties. We'll be able to house individuals or groups or company retreats all on site. And these buildings will have place to sleep, running water, kitchenette, lounge area, so that you can be there for multiple days and not feel like rushed to run between hotels, or, you know, having to feel disconnected because you got to run down the road to one area and then come back for training. You don't have to worry about getting there late because you were driving in. And so we felt that the luxury living gives the opportunity for us to connect, again, build that community, because there's something, and if you've ever been to a conference or you've ever gone and done something remote with a group or a team, there's something about being in the same space after the events of the day are done and just relaxing and hanging out and just talking about what it is that you did and being excited about that. And we want to capture that. And that's why we have added the luxury living to it. Now, the last part of the phase 1 planning is the outdoor flat range. This is a manual outdoor berm-backed flat range for both pistol, carbine, well, I shouldn't say both, pistol, carbine, and shotgun, or anything that we really want to do. That'll be managed by a range master. There will be an armory attached to it, so you'll be able to get your ammo, you'll be able to get your accessories, speak with an armorer in case you have, you know, weapon failures. And there will also be this will be available for rental hourly, or if you're in groups, you can actually book trainings, and we'll have facilities where we'll have classrooms and workshops and clinics and things of that nature. This facility will be both public facing and privately available. Now, this is static in the sense that you can set up just steel targets down at the end of the range, or we also, again, going back to the statement that I made earlier, we want versatility. So we may set up for 2 hours static targets down at end with steel targets, or maybe we'll set up a cover and concealment training where you're moving and firing. Maybe we set up a workout coupled with firing, because in a real life situation, you have to be able to deal with the adrenaline, and you can simulate that adrenaline by having a workout rolled into the functional training with weapons. So this facility, while it may seem simple in the state of, if you think about what's out in the you know, the space, in business space and entrepreneurial space today, we look at it as something that we can get real creative with, because it's all outdoors. And all we need is the expertise. And as long as we're bringing people in that have the expertise, we can facilitate trainings for anybody and everybody based on their needs, so that we can get down past fundamentals to intermediate to expert. Now, beyond phase 1, again, sky's the limit, right? The way that I look at this is the possibilities of 600 acres and what we can do to serve our customers, to serve the world, is absolutely endless. There is no glass ceiling here. But we wanted to have at least a plan in place to move us forward as we start successfully putting our flags in the ground. And so the phase 2 is more about the outdoor side of things. And so we wanted to set up a campground so that people can come and rent tent camping spaces on our facility and be completely immersed in these heavily wooded areas that are within 10 minutes of everything they really need, all the luxuries they need, whether it's a restaurant or a training course or whatever have you, but they still can be relaxing with their family or with their friends around a campfire at the end of the day. In this space, we'll have a pond, we'll have running water. And during the night, we'll host various ceremonies to honor the different pieces of culture that we want to honor. In most cases, I'm military, Matt is a Navy veteran. We believe in honoring those who have sacrificed for freedom and for the opportunity that we have today. So we have elected with the campgrounds, instead of having fire pits individually around and having to worry about the liability, we have one giant bonfire and we host a tap ceremony and flag lowering ceremony every evening where everybody can come out to this centrally located bonfire and start developing that community and talking, and we'll bring out s'mores and just enjoying that space while still getting a little bit of the ceremony that we believe is important. At the campgrounds, amenities will include showers, toilets. There'll be a covered eating area with barbecues that people can use as well. Additionally, we'll have barns. We'll have sorry, I can't see because of the chat. So we'll have barns, homesteading, and livestock. So part of the brighter futures, we believe sustainability and self-sufficiency as core cornerstones for making sure that you and your families are the most protected. And so part of that is being able to facilitate the development of skills around rearing livestock, harvesting food, even down to, canning and preserving food. Additionally, the barn and the livestock will be a co-op ecosystem with PTSD and trauma treatment center that we have scheduled currently in phase 3. Oops. Now, beyond phase 2 into phase 3, I just mentioned the PTSD and trauma center. Now, I've been affected by suicide personally. I know a lot of people that have gone through trauma. Myself have gone through trauma as a veteran. And so this is an area that really stands out to me as something that could be very impactful and supportive. We want to build an area because we have this giant facility where we can bring emergency, so law enforcement, medical, military veterans, or even just childhood and extreme circumstance trauma victims on site and give them the opportunity to move past that trauma. And again, reclaim that confidence and alignment within their life under the guidance of our facility, under the guidance of cutting edge techniques and counselors and psychiatrists, and really get them the help that they need from caring and professional staff that truly want to just see them grow and move past whatever it is that's holding them up. Now, the last piece that we have on paper, and again, we've talked at length about a lot of things, and in the essence of time, I'm running long and I apologize. This is what I've deemed as the tactical town. It's a 6-building facility built off in the farthest corner of the facility. And its purpose is to serve in training the tactics and defensive necessity of weapons trainings for both civilians, but also for military and law enforcement. Tactical Town has 6 different buildings, all set up and staged in different ways for different focuses. One may be for light discipline where it's all night op stuff. One could be just for a single house. One could be for breaching, so on and so forth. And so when you're at this facility, we will have running trainings at each one of these buildings for different focuses and functions. Now, the cool thing that we would like to have these buildings do is be completely modular as well. So if you come out for a class and say you're in building A, the next time you come out, building A will not look like building A you went through before, so that we can facilitate the development of skills while still addressing the fact that there is some random nature to using those skills in the real world. And so if you're in building A, doing a class 1 week, the next week you may be coming in and the walls are different. The layout is different. The furniture that you're having to address is different. The hurdles you have to overcome to get through that course is different. Because of the way we have it set up, we also plan on using it for the road. So entering a building, exiting a building, we can do executive protection training. We can do certification for, evacuations. Now, again, Tish mentioned, I've been focusing very heavily on the adult side of it, but there's also a child element to this as well. What about fire evacuation? We can train that. What about how to deal with active shooter events? We can train families on that. What about burglaries and forced entry situations? We can train them on that, but we can do that in a fun environment. We can use laser tag or technology with electronics so it's safe. There's no risk. The kids think they're having fun, but at the same time, they're learning all of this stuff. At the campgrounds, yeah, they think they're camping, but maybe you bring them out to a class where we teach them proper knots, or maybe we teach them, herbal safety so that they're not eating things that they're not supposed to, or what to do if you sprain your ankle, or how to deal with hyperthermia. Again, when we look at the facility, the possibilities of what we can train at this facility are going to be endless. And so with that phase 3, that I don't want to really talk about this because I don't really care about the money, but I left this in here so that people can see what it is. We're taking a market share of all of these industries. So we know it'll be successful. We know we will be successful because it'll be the first time that we've built a fully functioning system where there's crossover utility, there's an immersive experience, because these industries are already doing that when they're not even able to address the things that we're going to be addressing. So we know we'll be successful. Now, right now, we're targeting April 2024 as when we go. I believe, and Matt and Tish can throw something if I'm wrong, put it in the chat. I believe April 2024 is what we're targeting for groundbreaking, where we'll have the land on site and phase 1 will begin. And that timeline can be moved up. It can be moved out depending on how fast we get the land acquisitions squared away. However, in our conversations, one of the things that I've really identified in myself is, for a long time, I sought this opportunity from a position of ego and arrogance, thinking I could teach the tactical, thinking I could teach the fitness, thinking I could teach all these different verticals because I do have background in them. I do have. Okay, so boots on the ground 2024. So that means we're ready to go 2024 for at least phase 1. For a long time, I was looking at this as I would build this curriculum. And I realized it's too big for me to hold on to it in that way. In order for this to be successful, in order for us to have the flexibility, the impact, the versatility, but also the credibility, we have a need to expand the team to experts that have the authority and the experience to really flesh this out and really build these verticals into something special. And so because of that, that was one of the impetuses behind us having this public webinar, is because we are ready to start expanding our offer to include our directors. Now, these individuals will be developing these verticals, developing these different curriculums, developing and building with us so that we can succeed and they can truly be proud of what they built. Now, we may add, and we more than likely, because of how big this is going to be, we will be adding additional directors and staff. But as it sits right now, we are looking for 6. And I joke with the team and I call them the co-bad motherfuckers. Okay, COBMFS. And I call them that because these are high quality, high value individuals who believe in what we're trying to do and truly see how far this goes and the endless possibilities therein. And the reason that I called them the COBMFS is because we are looking for a community director who's focused around outreach, getting our name in front of people. They would be developing more of the nurturing, compassionate side of the system. Our operations director, Now they would be managing day-to-day activity. And when all said and done, they would be responsible for the day-to-day activity of the full facility. The battle director, this is the person that would be managing all of the tactical. They would own the tactical town, the flat range, they would own the armory. They would be developing the curriculum to training protectors and righteous citizens to defending their life and their families' lives. Our mastery director's entire purpose would be to ensure that there's a legitimate progression system and certification system in place. They would also be in charge of making sure that there are affiliations and cross utility between each of the curriculum-based directors. So if you're a battle director, the mastery director will work with you to make sure that if you have a need for, say, a fitness regimen or a specific level of physical readiness in order for people to be part of that, the mastery director will ensure that that gets put in place as a prerequisite before somebody can sign up for those classes. The fitness director is effectively going to be managing the physical readiness and well-being and health of side of Heroes Veritas. So they would be building workout programs based on goals. They'd be working on nutrition programming. They'd also, again, be working with the different directors to make sure if there's a requirement for readiness, making sure that that's in place. And they would also be in charge of, we will have athlete teams, we'll have competitive teams. They would be in charge of developing the curriculum for that as well and making sure that those individuals are put in place. Our survival director, their curriculum will be around fieldcraft, bushcraft, homesteading, triage. This is our outdoors person. This is the person that makes sure people stay safe should apocalypse happen, right? These 6 are what we have identified to be the next expansion to Heroes Veritas. They're the ones that will help us achieve greatness. And in doing so, we hope that we will help them achieve the greatness that they see in themselves as well. Now, the things and the role itself doesn't necessarily mean they're expected to have that background. It doesn't mean that they necessarily are the ones that need to build out that curriculum, but they would be in charge and responsible for developing a partnership or adding individuals to their team to flesh that out. Now, again, these 6 are just what we believe we need right now. As we open up the facility and we add the different amenities, additional director positions are going to open up. I would also like to say, and as I said at the beginning, if you see something in here that you're like, I see a place for me, but I'm not calling it out here, but you want to have a conversation with us about it, you feel you could add value here, please let us know. We are building this real time. We are doing this by the seat of our pants. We are just so excited that we can't sit on our hands anymore. I spent a lot of time in the beginning not knowing what to do and kind of being the crazy guy screaming into the wind saying, I wish the world was better. This is our opportunity to truly make it better. And I invite you to place yourself in that role, place yourself in that position and say, what can I bring to the table that will make this world better? And we will give you that platform. If you need training, we will work with you to get that training. If you need support, we will support you. That is what this whole system is about. It's bigger than me. And I didn't realize that until recently. But this is something that I truly in my heart believe was given to me. And I'm a religious person that God put on my plate because he said, I know you will build this. Go build. And now I'm looking for the team to help us build. And I've said it to the team many times, and I'll say it till the day I die. Walt Disney went to 237 people asking for their support, and they all said no. How many of them regret till their dying day not seeing the opportunity with as big as it is now? That's how I see us without the weird socio-political stuff. Like the prolific and profound impact that he had in the direction of culture is undeniable. And that is where we have an opportunity here. And so with that, I totally ate through the Q&A time. So if you have to go, I really appreciate you guys staying as long as you did and listening to this. And I hope you see yourself as part of this. and wanting to support this and seeing yourself partnering with us and growing with us. But at this time, I'll step off my soapbox and turn it over for Q&A. If you got to go, I totally understand. Feel free to reach out to me outwardly. But at this time, I'll go ahead and answer any questions or turn it over to the team to answer questions.
All right. Good job, Tim. Can you hear me?
I can.
Fabulous. All right. So a couple questions that came through. Thank you all for putting that in. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting for everybody and Tim while you were talking. But one of the first questions from Obina was that what sort of art space or music space, galleries, that sort of thing, where would that sort of fit into the 600 acres? So if you want to tap that a little bit as to, you know, how is nature and arts being brought into this type of facility?
So this is a really great opportunity because with the facility, let's focus on, say, music or live entertainment. With the space of the barn, that'll be a multifunctional hosting space. So if you think about a rustic feel, we can put bands and we can put live entertainment there. We can also do it at the headquarters. We're going to have an outdoor amphitheater that we're going to build on the facility at some point that will also be used to host live events such as that. As far as artwork in different mediums, more physical mediums like painting, sculpting, things of that nature, we've also had many discussions around part of the homesteading piece and self-sufficiency is that creative side needs to be called out in that as well. So we would also offer courses around developing artwork, including but not limited to smithing, so metalworking, glass blowing, as well as painting and general mediums as well. So a lot of opportunities there. I would say that if you can think about it, we'll have a space for it because 600 acres is quite a bit of space. We'll find a place for you. If you have something that you really believe is important to helping people, we'll find a space for you.
Awesome. Dr. D.
Do you guys mind if I jump in real quick, as I actually do have to go, but I wanted to share a little bit before I have to leave. Is that okay? Do you mind if I interject?
Not at all. I appreciate
it. My name's Brian Anderson. Matt's my friend. He invited me over with you guys. I served in the 75th Ranger Regiment from 1993 until 1999. I did full service from 91 to 99, but in a different MOS as Fister 13F. So I've also attended SEER training at Camp McCall. So I bring those credentials to the table because as you're looking and pointing towards these directorship positions, I was an instructor at Academy doing killbox training with Eric Prince up in Moyock, Virginia. I'm familiar with some of these facilities. We have tactical driver training there, similitude of other things that you're blending into the conceptual framework you just presented to us. And I wanted to point to the fact before I have to go that I could definitely see myself assisting in small unit tactics. I mean, that's what we do, light infantry. That's what Rangers do, man. You're probably familiar with kick doors in and kick butts, dude. So all that stuff, I have airborne training, air assault training, and SEER training on top of that, which could dovetail into helping out and assisting or with survival, obviously being outdoors. SEER, for those of you who may not know what SEER is, it stands for Survival, Evade, Resist, and Escape. And so there's three different levels of that up at Camp McCall. I think Matt and I have talked a little bit about this and chat a lot. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you guys, Tim, share some of my credentials, and definitely look forward to future conversations and parlaying those experiences I've had into the positions you're mentioning.
Awesome. I really appreciate you mentioning that. And that's phenomenal. That level of experience is amazing and is exactly in line with a lot of that. So I'm glad that you see yourself as part of that. And I appreciate you bringing that up. And, let's get on a call soon and let's talk about what that looks like. I definitely want to support any way I can, whether it's here or somewhere else. If we can support you, I definitely want to. That The fun part is that you tell me your credentials and I go, oh, we'll get a helicopter and we'll do that. And then we'll set up some stuff over here. So like the way that I look at this system is, if you guys have ever seen the movie Total Recall, and in the movie, they talk about it a lot, right? They're like, have you ever wanted to do X, Y, and Z? Well, come on, we'll give you the memory. How about we give you the real world experience and the training? So you want to be a super spy? We'll show you how to set up surveillance. You want to be the protector of your family? We'll show you how to clear your own house and make sure your people get out safely. You want to do executive protection? We'll take you in there. You want to be a musician? We'll put you up for that too. Whatever that is, we need to bring back the dignity of hard work. And we need to allow people the opportunity to be curious like children again and let them learn and have fun, because we've robbed them of that. And then we put it in this crappy meta world where everybody's doing it virtually. And then they're like, I don't know why I'm not happy. Well, you're not doing anything. This is our opportunity to take it back to the visceral world, to take it to the corporeal physical realm, and take people to that level where they are excited to wake up in the morning and say, holy shit, I get to go hang out of a helicopter today. And then after that, we're going to go roast s'mores over the bonfire at the campground. That's the kind of shit that I'm trying to build. So when I say you guys are like, and I apologize if I offend anybody with cussing, that's just the way I am when I get excited. So when I say nothing is off the table, I truly mean, as long as we keep the core foundational virtues of responsibility, integrity, courage, and honor, we can do anything on our facility. It's our place to build something that people are proud to show up to and want to keep coming back to over and over again. And they always get something of value from it. Because I'm one guy, I like one thing, but Tish, she's a totally different person. I don't know what she wants, but she comes to me and she's like, I want to do a high-low ropes course and climb around with kids with zip lines. And cool, let's build it. And then Matt's like, well, can we add a rappelling station to that? It's 50 feet in the air. Hell yeah, let's do it. Nothing is off the table, because the reality is what we're solving is bigger than the action. We're solving the aha moment, the pride in waking up, the excitement, the spark that a lot of people are missing. You know, you're an operator. Guys get out of the military and they forget what they're doing because they no longer have a mission. They need a new ladder to climb. We'll give them the ladder. And if they don't like that ladder, we got 3,700 other ladders for them to go try out. Cool. Let's find a place for them. That's what I want to build. So I really appreciate you saying that you see yourself there.
Appreciate allowing the interjection. Appreciate the opportunity. We'll definitely touch bases. Wish you all a good night. Sorry I have to cut it short. Matt, I'll see you at the gym, brother. Good one,
Awesome.
you guys.
So to that, following with that, Dr. G had a question as to the PTSD and sort of the mental health that we see as being part of Heroes Veritas. What does that sort of fall under, and how is that the mental health piece get incorporated into the property?
So given that the actual facility itself wouldn't be stood up until late in the game, because there's a little bit more legalities around setting that up, you know, because you're on the health side of things. I didn't add them on here as part of any of the directors that we had specifically around the PTSD and mental health pieces. However, they would fall under the community director as far as outreach and trying to help, and that more compassionate, nurturing side of the house. So the characteristics of the community director would align very well to that. However, because we don't have an actual PTSD mental health program right now, we hadn't rolled that out. That being said, as I mentioned, though, if we feel that that's something that we can add on, we can build that director and create that space for them so that they can feel part of this program, and we can start communicating those things out in curriculum. Go ahead, Dr. D. You said you wanted to expand on the question just real quick before we move on to the next question.
Yeah, I figured there were some licensing things with regard to the mental health side, but in considering, I mean, I know you said way earlier in your presentation, like why you guys didn't go nonprofit, you know, because there would be a lot of constraints, right? So in the same thing with mental health, being creative with language and being creative with still having the same end result, but the way that you market those services and you can still get things done without all the regulations of, it's not illegal. It's just you need someone that's competent to know, is someone offering psychological treatment? Yes, now that is governed by your state and localities, right? As opposed to if I'm teaching some type of wellness techniques or some type of supportive techniques, and it's just the same. It's just the language that is used is regulated. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Is it just the regulations that is keeping that hasn't been articulated yet?
I would say yes, at least from my position. It's
Okay.
you know, an ignorance factor. I don't know what I don't know. And so looking at it, I didn't feel comfortable yet defining and filling that out. However, if you're offering, I would love to pick your brain and have that fleshed out a little bit more deliberately, because, you know, being a veteran, having a traumatic childhood myself, I know the necessity for it, and I know the support and the value that it can bring. And that would just help us so much more to have that fleshed out. So it was definitely an ignorance piece that kept it from being fleshed out currently.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And to that point,
Sounds good.
Dr. D, that was part of the idea with having the barn and the agriculture and the livestock and whatnot. It's like there's a potential there for wellness being part of, you know, working with horses, or, you know, some of those type of programs that people might be familiar with, and bringing some of those to Heroes Veritas as well. But again, to Tim's point, with knowing your background and tapping into that a little bit would be great.
Sure. We can definitely connect offline.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, so final question for you, Tim, which I'm sure everybody is kind of interested in. It's exciting for us too, but that piece of, so where would this location be? Where is our 600 acres?
So that's, roll it back. My brain went to 1,000 different places all at once. So the reality is there's a lot that has to take into play as far as physical location, not just the space, right, and the amenities, but there's a certain level of theatrical necessity for us to have an immersive space that supports all of the things that we're doing, right? Heavily wooded, but still accessible, but still has access to water, mineral rights, power, gas, etc. Then you get into more the socio-political side of things. Are there legislations in a state or a location that's going to allow us to build out the things that we want to build out? And so more just tentatively, we've been looking at locations like Texas and Oklahoma. We've also mentioned Utah. I believe Luke's on here. He's mentioned Georgia's got a plethora of land out there. So I've also been looking at Georgia, but I don't know if I like that humidity, but we'll see.
Did you say Tennessee too?
I did when you and I have talked, not now, but you and I have talked about Tennessee. Yes.
Tennessee would be great too.
I bet it's in your backyard.
For now.
Which actually brings me to a point that I didn't bring up in regards to the director positions. Like, obviously, because we don't have a physical location, all of these positions will be completely functional remotely. Matt's in Arizona, I'm in California, Tish is in California, and we make it work through Zoom calls and connections through various productivity tools to make sure that we're all aligned and moving forward. So if you see yourself as part of this, at the very least in the beginning, don't worry about geolocation, because obviously the last couple of years have proven that all of us can work remotely where necessary. However, if you expect to stay for the long haul and build with us and get that big payout at the end, where we're moving millions of people through the facility every year, then there's an expectation that at that point you'll be on site with us at the location wherever we end up being, so that you can support that role. Now, everything is up in the air. So I really want to find individuals that believe in what we're trying to do and want to make a positive impact in the world. So to that degree, there's a lot of things that I am more than willing to have conversations around, and we can't see if we can't find some versatility in our interaction to make that work more, because it's much easier for us to teach people new skills, to get people on board with different things, or to create productivity tools, especially with the technology we have today, when we have people who truly have the fire for the vision and the loyalty to the vision and really believe in what we're trying to do. So I just wanted to add that, because I mentioned it. I talked all about this stuff, and then somebody's gonna be like, well, I'm not in California, so I'm out. No, like we'll make it work. Like I'd love to work with you. If that's a good fit, let's have a conversation.
So I think that was it for all the questions in the that came through during the
Okay.
webinar. I
Awesome.
think maybe to validate everybody's time, you know, let's, if there's anything else that anybody has, a last minute question, then let's get that addressed. And then otherwise, let's wrap it up and thank everybody for coming.
Yeah, 100%. I apologize that we went 15 minutes over. I get a little bit rambly when I'm excited about things. So thank you for letting me stand on my soapbox and explain where we're going, get really excited with you guys. A lot of you, we've talked offline at various times, so you know how excited I can get. So thank you so much for having the time. And if you have any questions, any further questions, if you want to get on a phone call and we can connect on where you fit in, please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll get it figured out.
One last thing is this whole thing was recorded. It'll be cleaned up and put on our website. So if you feel you want to go back and listen to it again, you're going to be able to in the near future.
Yes. Thank you, Matt. At that time, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. And I hope we can work together soon. And I look forward to talking with you guys more in the future.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.